When I was researching the story that I've posted on my channel in the past regarding the odd sounds that were heard in mission control during the first moon landing of Apollo 11, I had already done some rehashing of audio that I have of another recording dealing with the Dallas Police Department. When Kennedy was assassinated, there is about maybe not even 2 or 3 seconds of a area on the recording where you hear sirens in the background, and it's definitely like over-modulation of all the different sounds, coming in from a microphone. And I thought it sounded similar to the recordings that were done, or at least what they picked up from Apollo 11.
This is Apollo Control. Still no explanation of the weird noises emanating from Apollo 11, if indeed it is from Apollo 11, and it's reported from network that it's being received on the downlink at 2 different stations in the manned spaceflight network. Perhaps it will all shake out later in the mission as to what these strange noises are. We'll come back up again as conversation is resumed with Apollo 11. Now 160,410 nautical miles out from Earth, traveling at 4,228 feet per second. At 154 hours 5 minutes ground elapsed time, this is Apollo Control.
Apollo 11, Houston, you sure you don't have anybody else in there with you? Houston, Apollo 11, say again, please. We had some strange noises coming down on the downlink, and sound like you had some friends up there. Where'd the white team go during their off hours anyway? Say again?
And in a video I've done probably a year and a half ago, the point I was making in my video then was that I assume that what they were picking up on the mission control radio system was possibly maybe alien contact, because in a lot of things that's happened in the last 10 years, they make assumptions that aliens would attempt to contact Earth by using something they've picked up already on Earth before. And whatever this life form is, it apparently has the same kind of communication or auditory that was picked up by Apollo 11 mission control, because when you hear the noise come in the second time on the audio, there's a series of sirens that is heard in the broadcast right after those sounds. And I speculate in my own assumption that if this thing or creature could understand those sounds of the siren and it's how it communicated, then that's why it used it as reference when it was trying to contact us. That's what I think. And that's why in this particular video, I'm including that small segment of what was in the Dallas Police Department's radio traffic. That it had something like, it was definitely somebody's open microphone picking up the sirens of the Dallas police. And then you hear some other distortion coming in with it. And that is kind of a summation of whatever it was that was contacting the Apollo Mission Control in 1969, that, maybe they intercepted some radio traffic or some broadcast from television in space and recorded it. And when they attempted to communicate in that audio segment, they were replaying it again for the people in Mission Control, saying, this is how we communicate, and we heard you in your telecast, and that's why we're replaying it. Kind of like saying, it sounds like you understand our language. And I mean, maybe you're laughing about it, but it's too much a coincidence for that to have happened, because in all the years since Apollo 11, I've never even heard of such a thing, that they had heard and picked up some sort of radio communication during the mission from some outside source, and they never could identify it being from Earth. In other words, it was not a terrestrial signal from within our atmosphere. It was coming from outside. And that tells me it was coming from outer space, outside of our atmosphere. And I trying to think, I think they said it might have been picked up also at a secondary tracking station, because that's what the guy said from Mission Control, was that they were getting this transmission, but it was also being picked up at another station somewhere else, I think in Australia maybe. So that tells you this thing could not have been some localized disruption or interference, because if two different tracking stations or hearing stations pick it up, it means that it was coming from outside of the Earth. And that's the point of why I wanted to share this in this video today, because nobody from NASA, even the astronauts, Buzz Aldrin is still alive, so is Mike Collins. Well, I don't know about Mike Collins, but nobody's ever answered as to the implications of what was this transmission. And, you got these people who talk about all these different so-called UFO sightings when Apollo 11 was on the moon. And most of it's been discredited because they said it was light bulbs within the limb that was reflecting off of the windows. And that's what most people thought were UFOs in that. But who can say that these auditory sounds that were picked up by the Apollo 11 control, that it isn't some sort of an intelligent life of some kind that was trying to communicate with Earth? So I leave an open mind, and I hope you do, that whatever this thing was, that it was trying to communicate with Earth. It was trying to say something to us. And, it never did happen again. So perhaps when they detected that our spacecraft was approaching the moon, or actually landed, and they got no response from that contact, they figured, well, y'all don't understand us, so we don't need to communicate anymore. And then they didn't hear it again. So I appreciate you watching this video, and I hope that perhaps some other people will comment on perhaps what maybe they've learned since all of this auditory evidence came to the light as far as on the internet. Thank you.